this historic election night. We're standing by for our first chance to make projections in the presidential race. Right now, let's get a key race alert. More results coming in from Kentucky right now. You see Donald Trump has a significant lead, very early, but he has a significant lead of more than 5,000 votes, 73.9% for Trump, 23.5% for Hillary Clinton, once again, early in Kentucky. Let's go over to Jake. Jake, we're watching all these early states come in. We're getting a lot of key race alerts. More numbers are going to be coming in very quickly, but we're waiting for some key results in battlegrounds.
That's right. 40 out of 50 states have voted the same exact way in the last 4 presidential elections. So those other 10 states that are constantly shifting back and forth that will determine this election, and those are the ones that we're really going to keep an eye on. Let's go now to David Chalian, our political director, who has some more information from the exit polls. So David, you're looking right now at what people in these preliminary exit polls are saying about how they would feel if Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton became the next president.
That's right, Jake, and we're just going to see yet again, I know we've talked about this a couple times now, the challenge here with these unpopular candidates. For either one of them, whoever wins tonight, they're going to have a challenge bringing the country back together, getting a majority of Americans on their side. Take a look here. Donald Trump wins tonight. No matter who they voted for, take a look at these numbers here. 21% say they'll be concerned. 37% say they'll be scared. Concerned or scared, 58% of the electorate if Donald Trump wins. Hillary Clinton, about the same, not a ton better. 24% concerned, 29% scared if Hillary Clinton wins the presidency tonight, 53%. They are both facing majorities who are more concerned and scared than excited and optimistic, no matter who wins this election tonight, Jake.
Kind of bizarre, because that would suggest, and I know these are preliminary numbers, but that would suggest that people are voting for Donald Trump who would be concerned or scared, and people are voting for Hillary Clinton who would be concerned or scared. Yet another reflection that many voters are not happy with the choices they have.
A lot of people concerned and scared right now. We have a key race alert right now. All right, take a look. More numbers coming in from Indiana. First numbers coming in fact, from the state of Indiana. 11 electoral votes. Donald Trump has a significant lead. 1% of the vote is in. Once again, caution everybody, very early in Indiana. He's got a lead of 1,688 votes over Hillary Clinton. You can see 69.3% for Donald Trump, 27.5%. Very early in Indiana, but Trump has a lead. Also a lead in Kentucky. Once again, very early, but he's got a 5,500 vote lead over Hillary Clinton in Kentucky right now. 8 electoral votes at stake in Kentucky. We're about to get a lot more results. Stand by. I want to go over to John King over at the Magic Wall. North Carolina. Let's take a look at North Carolina, because critical closes in less than an hour, a little bit more than an hour or so from now. But North Carolina, there's already a case, a court case involved. The Democrats are challenging one of the polling areas.
Democrats are trying to keep the polls open for an extra 90 minutes here in Durham County. They say there were some machine issues early on, and so they have some lines, and they're trying to keep the polls open in this county. 2.8%, so about 3% of the state's population. Why is this important? Why are Democrats saying keep it open? Let's go back in history. Here in 2012, Durham County, 76% for the Democrat, President Obama, 23% for Mitt Romney. If you go back to 2008, when President Obama carried the state, pretty much the same, 76%. So you pull out to the map here, that's 2008. Let's go back to 2012. Obviously, this area of the state, the Raleigh-Durham area, is absolutely critical in this competitive battleground state, but Durham in particular, Democrats need those votes. So they're in court right now trying to keep them open. And this is what we're going to watch all night. This has become, Florida was the closest election in 2012. Demographically, North Carolina is probably the most closely contested battleground state. We expect Florida and North Carolina to be 2 of our most competitive states tonight. And that area of the state, Wolf, is absolutely critical. We come into Wake County here, next door to the Raleigh-Durham area. President Obama won by 11 points. Hillary Clinton needs
almost 10% of the population of the state.
Right, it's a very big chunk of the state population. And here, this is 2 battlegrounds within the battleground. In the sense that you need African American turnout, and those college-educated white voters, especially suburban women, will be critical here. But Durham is a much more Democratic base area. This is a swing area. Wake County next door is a swing area. It goes Democrat now, but the question is the margins for the Democrat to be competitive statewide. Here, the Democrats, this is a basket of Democratic votes, and if those polls close early, just do the math. People don't vote, you don't get those numbers. And so that's why you have the court case going on right now, because this is absolutely pivotal to Hillary Clinton and the overall vote count in North Carolina.
Polls close in North Carolina at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Same in Ohio, which is so important, especially for Donald Trump.
If Donald Trump does not win Ohio, he will not win the presidency. You see here 51-47. Again, this is the Obama-Romney race. This is absolutely critical to Donald Trump, and we lean Ohio in Donald Trump's favor in our electoral map because he has consistently led by a small amount, but a consistent, steady lead in Ohio. So what are we going to look for? Number one, on the Democratic side, can Hillary Clinton pull this state back, if you will, pull it away from Donald Trump? It's all right here. Cuyahoga County, other places as well, but we'll know our first indication is African-American and Democratic-based turnout in Cuyahoga County. Can she do that? Not just with the percentages, but with the map, the numbers, the turnout numbers. The next question we'll have in Ohio, and this will be the same case in North Carolina, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, in every big swing state, who wins the battle for the suburbs? Close presidential elections increasingly decided in the suburbs. Look how close Lake County, Ohio was back in 2012. President Obama close enough to keep winning the state. So we're going to look here as well in Ohio. And then if you look at the middle of the state, it's going to be a bit of a broken record tonight, but we go through now, we can study this in Kentucky. We're going to get it soon in Virginia, and then we're going to see it in Ohio. How does Donald Trump do in these areas here? Especially here, just over the Pennsylvania border, Youngstown area, that's a Democratic area. What are the margins? What is he getting for those white, blue-collar voters who usually vote Democratic, who might be listening to Donald Trump? Maybe they think he's better able to handle the economy. Maybe they like the trade message. Maybe they like the immigration message. So we're going to look in here. And then in these smaller counties in Ohio and in many of the key battleground states, you're just looking, how does he do compared to Mitt Romney? Is he getting more of these blue-collar white voters? Donald Trump has to run it up in the rural areas, and the big question here will be African-American turnout in Cleveland and the Columbus area.
Let's not forget John Casey, the governor, voted this time for John McCain, not for the Republican nominee. We're nearing a pivotal moment in the presidential race, coming up at the top of the hour. The first results from two of tonight's battlegrounds. We're talking about Georgia and Virginia. We're going to get important clues about how this night may turn out. Stay with us.
It's been a journey to get where I am, and I didn't get here alone. There were people who listened along the way, people who gave me options, kept me on track. And through it all, my retirement never got left behind. So today, I'm prepared for anything we may want tomorrow to be.
Every someday needs a plan. Let's talk about your old 401k today.
The votes are in, and Graves is a winner with critics. It's one of the top 10 new fall shows.
Deal with it, America.
A razor-sharp new political satire.
They're giving you the Reagan Award.
They gave that word Dan Quinn. Nolte is wonderful.
I don't know how many people died because my political machine figures how dying people don't vote.
It's genuinely funny and moving.
I will be your damn president.
I hope you're ready for this.
Graves, Sundays on Epix, or anytime on demand and on the Epix app.
Hello, hello! And how are we doing today? We are doing awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm watching the election coverage, and yeah, I know it's not like a hot topic, but it is something great. Hello, Video Alex, how are you doing today? Welcome to Election Day! And the votes are rolling in Kentucky. We all know that Trump's going to lose this. This is just a formality, a kind of last right before Trump just winds off into the distance as the sun sets and potentially crushes his ass. So, I'm not exactly worried about the damn thing. But, hold on. Oh, okay. Hey! God Savage 242. Yeah, that thing right there. Yeah. Queen Mary Hearts, what up? You rock, you beautiful person. Oh, things are going great. Things are going great. You know, we got the the Democrats versus the Republicans, and Hillary's just beating the utter shit out of Trump. Okay. So, It is absolutely awesome. So I've been literally recording since I got up. I turned on the TV, I hit this thing, it was at 15 hours space, it's now down to 9 hours, so I've literally been recording for I would like Hillary to win. Because I don't want Trump to win. Because if Trump wins, that would be horrible. For just everyone. Just no. No. What's there to explain that hasn't been talked about already?
Take a look at this from the site. This is Manhattan. You see the Empire State Building right there. This is the CNN helicopter that's flying over Manhattan right now. History is being made in New York City. For the first time in our history, in U.S. history, both candidates are on this election night in the same city. In fact, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are only about a mile and a half, their campaign headquarters, they're only about a mile and a half apart in Manhattan right now. You see our CNN helicopter flying.
I'm voting
over
Democrat because I'm a Democrat.
Red, and blue.
That's really all the explanation I need to give.
More shots of that, but right now let's get a key race alert.
Much love to Dems.
All right, in Indiana right
I might not be
now,
as entertaining as I usually am because, you know, this is taking much more precedence.
Almost 13,000 over Hillary Clinton, 70% to 26%. Once again, there only 1% of the vote is in. 11 electoral votes in Indiana. His vice presidential running mate is the governor there. Kentucky, Donald Trump maintains a significant lead there as well. 8,500 vote lead over Hillary Clinton. Still early. 1% of the vote is in. 68% to 28%. 8 electoral.
Hey, Orange Splash, what up?
8 electoral votes at stake in Kentucky. Let's go back to Jake and Dana. What are you looking for? Because polls are about to close in in 30 minutes in some important states.
What an exciting night. I guess there are a few things. Obviously, first, the 10 states, the battleground states that we're all looking at. Right now. We'll spend the night doing that, but especially North Carolina, Florida, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, etc. But in addition, I'm really interested in, first of all, there's been a lot of anecdotal reporting about early vote and Latino votes surging in places like Nevada, places like Florida and Virginia, states that really are crucial for either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. Is that real? Are those Latino votes surging? And also, are African American votes going down? As a lot of Democrats feared after 2012 and 2008 with the first African American president. Second of all, the gender gap. Is there going to be a gender gap? We've seen it in the polls. Women voters, even white college-educated women voters who normally break Republican, going for Hillary Clinton in the polls, are they going to turn out? Is there going to be a sizable gender gap with men favoring Donald Trump, women favoring Hillary Clinton?
At the top of the hour, Dana, Georgia and Virginia, who would have thought Georgia all of a sudden is a battleground state, but apparently the polls show it's pretty close.
Right, Republicans have been saying privately that they thought that was going to be a tight one for some time. The Clinton campaign didn't go in and take advantage of it, so it didn't really become that much of a race. But I just want to talk about one thing that you touched on, which is the Latino vote. My question is, looking ahead to the end of the night, whether or not this will be kind of a bookend with regard to Latinos, in that ever since Donald Trump came down that escalator and made the remarks that he did about Latinos, that has been an issue for that demographic. And now, like you said, the question is whether or not there is a Latino surge. And if that happens,
it
turns out that perhaps Donald Trump sort of awoke the sleeping giant.
Oh, of course he awoke the sleeping giant. Of course he woke the sleeping giant.
The end of the night, the end of the campaign.
He just...
versus the beginning.
Democrats have been trying for years to get Latinos to vote in the as high numbers as they can get. And
it's ironic because
has been
Donald,
a contentious state.
He just
in the words of
pissed everyone off across the board. And Hillary, she's just, she's good for the country, but apparently half the country's like, oh God, I'm scared and concerned about her and everything else.
if they turn out the numbers in Florida, in Virginia, in Colorado,
ridiculous.
in Nevada,
It really is fucking ridiculous. Hey, Crazy, what up? I wonder how many other live casters are actually, you know, live casting this. I mean, isn't this important enough to like put aside all the usual goofiness that we see on here?
Yeah, Wolf, thanks very much. Carter, you've been watching North Carolina very closely tonight.
Well, I think North Carolina is probably going to be one of the closer races we have, and I'm very interested in this court case. I think you have two dynamics. You have a relatively frivolous lawsuit that was filed in Nevada by the Trump campaign because individuals were staying in line, voting as they should be allowed to in Clark County. But here you have a GOP party in North Carolina. The court said they discriminated with such precision.
Smash that like button.
On the number of early voting locations, especially here in Durham. And what happens
okay, if we get to 1,000 hearts, I'm going to
it's an historically black college, a university there in North Carolina Central, where the lines are
eat some dog food
out of the roof. And so you see these things happening in pockets.
If we get to 2,000 likes, I'll give a shout out to Trump. If we get to 3,000 likes, the shirt is coming off.
Allow this county to stay open for another hour and a half, which is important because Corey and I, we sit on this.
Hey, Mental World, what up?
We don't agree on everything politically, but we do agree on the fact that everybody should come out and vote, and everybody should have an opportunity to play in the process. And so get in line, stay in line.
Get out there and vote. It's my tiny, tiny microphone.
Is a disgrace.
Get out there and vote. You know you want to get out there and vote. You know you want to get out there and vote. Yeah.
A Democrat stronghold, so if I were them, I'd be fighting for it too.
It's a tiny, tiny microphone for Donald Trump's tiny, tiny hands.
They're going to be able to keep that open.
Yeah, it's my home state. I grew up there, and I can just tell you it's been an agony that I've seen what's been happening in our politics over the last few years. It's gotten very rough, very nasty. And this is
I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Carolina, because the forces of authorities have been a very tight election for governor, being reelected to governor. And there's also a Senate race that could actually change the leadership.
So who are you guys voting for? Are you voting for Trump? Or are you voting for
It's really pretty sensitive to the way this whole election, the sense of democracy.
We also saw President Obama making numerous trips to North Carolina to try to raise the Yeah.
Well, he's trying to get out the African American vote because there was a sense that it wasn't turning out as the current numbers to turn out. I think what we're going to be watching tonight is whether there is a real demographic shift in this country. The last election, 72% of the people who voted across the country were white. We're going to have to see if that number decreases this time. And so demographics is destiny, as we always say. So the question is, in North Carolina and in other places, will minority vote
if you haven't gotten out and voted,
you should probably in the country versus college versus non-college educated voters. And this is something that really interests me because for the last 15 years, Republicans have won the college educated vote. Is that
minutes away from getting the first results from two major battlegrounds. Polls are about to close in Georgia and Virginia.
Georgia and Virginia.
Just getting started. We'll be back.
All right. Georgia and Virginia. Come on, baby. Come on. You know this is going to be good. You know this is going to be great. You know it's going to boom, boom, chicka, boom, boom, chicka, bam. Everything like that. So, what are you going to do? You can't do something like that? No, you can't. You got to go all over the place. You got to go left. You got to go right. You got to duck. You got to dodge. You got to boom, boom, ba-da-dum, boom, boom, ba-da-dum. Everything else. Oh, shit.
It's going down. What?
What you did that day no longer belongs to you. It's America's story now.
What really happened over there?
I did what I had to do. It's long halftime walk, rated R.
As farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything.
I'm gonna hit that share button. I know that this app's aimed at at the teenage crowd, but you got to understand, voting will help you out in the long run.
It happens December 14th, 2015, and we covered it. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
As I went walking, I saw a sign. And on the sign it said, "No trespassing." But on the other side, it said nothing. That sign was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of our diamond deserts. And all around
well, this is not awkward at all.
This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. Esta tierra es mía. This land was made for you.
What up, Dale Serio? Oh shit, I cannot believe because people gotta do what I want to 3. We got 2016 and the Trump versus Hillary gonna be. Someone wants Hillary gotta pump the door. Look on with us all. People gotta do for the one to ball. We gotta know what you gotta show. It's gonna grow, gonna be boom boom, chicken boom with it. Oh.
Any excuse to come back is a good one.
A sushi legend is taking Tony where it all started.
Bum bum, bum bum bum. Bum bum, bum bum bum.
Sunday at 9
bum
on CNN.
bum. I'm watching the election coverage, so.
End up picking pretty labels instead of pretty wine. There's a better way. America's #1 personal wine.
Alright, so.
Every bottle is selected.
I personally, I'm going, Hillary.
50 wines makes it through our rigorous selection.
But some people may be going, Donald Trump, because if they doing Trump, you know, they got that, no hair, Papador thing going on. So he has to do that weird little hair. Everyone loves me. Everyone loves me. Just everyone loves me. I can do no wrong.
It's a no-brainer. Great wine without the guesswork, backed by our total satisfaction guarantee. Go to tastingroom.com.
My hair is like a vortex of WTF.
$40 value for just $6.95. Tastingroom.com, code PORK9. Tastingroom.com. Taste, rate, enjoy.
This is my hair. There's my delay.
This is Life with Lisa Lamb. New episodes, Sundays at 10 on CNN.
Welcome back. Right now, we have another key race alert.
Oh!
In Indiana right now, 2% of the vote is in. You see Donald Trump still maintains his significantly 22,500 plus over Hillary Clinton.
Oh, come on, Indiana. What the fuck?
Indiana early, but Trump has a significant lead.
Come on!
Similarly, in Kentucky, 2% of the vote.
Fuck!
He's at 68%. She's only at 28%.
This is so fucking stressful.
More than 16.
I mean, I know Trump's gonna win. I mean, I know Trump's gonna lose.
We're watching the presidential race very, very closely. We're also watching the balance of power in the U.S. Senate. Dana is taking a closer look at that.
That's right. Well, let's take a look at the battle for control of the Senate.
So,
first, Democrats have 46 seats. Republicans have 54. That's the old balance of power.
Everything's going great, or as it was.
We're watching 9 key races.
It's like Grimjow. Remember, hi, how's it going? My name's Grimjow, and everything else is going great. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. It's all good. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Who the fuck cares? Why?
They've spent hundreds of millions of dollars, dispatched marquee players to all over these races to deprive Democrats of 5 pickups.
Okay, so there's this side.
Majority. Well, here's another scenario, a 50-50 Senate. If Hillary Clinton is elected, Democrats would have the majority because Vice President Tim Kaine would cast the tie-breaking vote. If Donald Trump is elected, Republicans would have the majority because Vice President Mike Pence would cast the tie-breaking vote. Now let's get to the first votes coming up with this key race election.
All right, key race election. Here we go. Here we go. Race. We're doing something here. We're doing something. Oh, shit. Right. People got to know. I'm going to put my hat back on. Screw you people. You don't deserve my forehead.
The Republican who's hoping to keep the seat in Republican hands is up with a significant margin there, up a little bit more than 13,000 votes, but only 2% of the vote is in, so we're going to keep watching that very, very close
Jesus
because it's such a big one.
Christ.
Some votes coming in from Kentucky. Rand Paul, who started out this campaign running for president, dropped out. Now he's trying to keep his Senate seat. He's in his race for re-election. He's a little more than 10,000 votes ahead of his Democratic challenger, Jim Gray. We're going to keep watching that as well, because again, that's only 2%. Now let's look, Jake, at the current balance of power, where we start this evening. If you see up on the big board, Democrats right now have 36, Republicans have 30, and we are looking at 34 seats that we're going to be monitoring and projecting as we get the results in throughout the night.
But really, it's 9 seats that we're really focusing on, because the others don't really have competitive races.
Exactly.
One of the things that's so interesting is about 3 or 4 weeks
By
ago,
the power of Voltron.
had taken place in early October when Hillary Clinton was really surging following the release of the Hollywood tape, and Democrats were talking about recapturing the Senate by big numbers.
Lost the head.
Then, of course, FBI Director Comey released that letter, and the race started tightening, and now they're hoping for some pickups, but we'll see how many they get.
See, indeed, Democrats had an advantage.
Why, hello, you meet Bear, and how are you doing today? I'm not getting drunk.
Well, thanks very much.
In fact, I'm not going to get drunk anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All the vitriol
my hair is more fun than your entertainment.
It's really the waning days of this campaign, all the divisions, to lose sight of just how historic this is. I mean, no matter who wins for different reasons.
You know, I saw something today which frankly just touched me, and I said before, I never thought that the female factor was going to be something that was so significant to me, and it's definitely not the reason why I voted. But I saw today the line of people lining up in the cemetery where Susan B. Anthony's tombstone is, and the women putting the I voted sticker on her tombstone. Whether you are Republican or Democrat, if you believe in a woman's right to vote, if you believe that we are all equal in this country, that should be something that touches us all, that makes a significant statement for us all.
And obviously, Gloria, if Donald Trump wins, it is a historic night in a whole other way.
It's an historic night because you would have an outsider, new to politics, a celebrity.
So who hasn't been involved even in government or
not even in government. I mean, Eisenhower was the last one, but he was a general. So you'd have somebody who created a movement out of nothing. Who
a shit
movement. Ideological wing of his particular party, who spoke to voters about their concerns of being disenfranchised from their own party as well as from the opposition party, who felt removed from Washington and said, you know, I've had enough and I don't want to take it anymore, and I am looking for something different, somebody to shake up the establishment and the status quo. So either of these results would be historic for this country. I mean, I want to add to what Anna was saying. You know, it's the persistence of these women 96 years ago who got the right to vote for women in this country that those women were thanking today, because when you think it hasn't, you know, 96 years.
In our generations, we sometimes take it for granted.
Of course we do.
We take for granted that less than 100 years ago, women could not vote. Women were not equal in this country in that aspect. And so, look, whether she wins or not tonight, the fact that Hillary Clinton is out there competing for the big title is, I think, very significant to a lot of people in this country.
Well, yeah, it's also significant that we talk a lot about the Latino vote, but also that the women's vote may be very historic in a lot of different ways. We don't have enough numbers right now to know for sure, but that she may be winning white college-educated women, that she may even possibly win married women, which would be the first Democrat since her husband barely won them 20 years ago. So the fact that she could be, you know, moving these women. Now, we don't know if this is a realignment, if these are women that are moving away from the Republican Party, or if this is an anti-Trump.
But also just the changing demographics of the United States. I mean, not only how we're seeing it reflected this time around compared to even 4 years ago, 8 years ago, but what it portends for the future as well.
Well, we've got two things happening on the Latino front. First of all, the percentage of Latinos voting has been ticking up. It's gone from 8% to 10%, has been ticking up. But also, the percentage of Latinos voting for the Republican Party has been ticking down. We went from 44% with George W. Bush to 31% with John McCain, which we thought was tragic, and we had to address, and we had to fix it, we had to deal with immigration. And then we went to 27% with Mitt Romney. At that point, our hair was set on fire on the Republican side. We needed to address this. We had a post-mortem. Well, now we're worse than post-mortem. We're dead even before the beginning. I can assure you that Donald Trump is going to get historic low numbers amongst Latinos. He's going to be probably in the teens. If he breaks 20, it's a good night for him with Latinos, and it would be sweet, sweet justice if after everything he has said, after every attack he has made against Latinos, after he has thrown out Latino anchors from press events, after he hasn't done any outreach, after he has questioned a judge's citizenship, after he has called Mexicans racist, it would be sweet, sweet justice if tonight it was a Latino vote that defeated Donald Trump. Así que mi gente, levántense y voten.
Anna Navarro, you are not a Trump supporter.
No, I'm not. You know what I am?
Hello.
Educated Latina. And sure as hell not a Trump supporter.
David Gergen,
I'm not sure I can follow that.
Yeah,
But you're a Trump supporter.
We're already seeing this obviously in the early voting in Florida, which is the percentage of Latino voters and the Latino voters who are embracing the Democratic Party, which in Florida has not been the history
absolutely. And look, I think that Donald Trump can still win this tonight, and he will change our history too. I mean,
So beautiful. And I don't know why. People gotta cry, you're beautiful.
What you see is the makings of a coalition, a national coalition.
This mask is hideous.
For the foreseeable future, it is as strong a coalition as what Franklin Roosevelt put together back in the 1930s.
When you talking about a coalition, what do you mean?
I'm talking about a coalition of, a party coalition of people, the forces within. If you can get the Latino vote and your Latino vote on your side, if you can get the black vote on your side, if you get the minorities, if you get women, if you get the young.
I like my Grimjow thing, my Grimjow cosplay. Also, I'm
a majority now. If they win tonight, they will have won a majority of the vote in 6 out of 7 presidential elections. We haven't seen that in our history very often. We saw it in the 30s, we saw it once again.
I think I have some super good
first big wave of results in the presidential race.
Because this thing's like her.
Thanks, Anderson. Now, more early votes already are coming in. We have a key race alert.
Key race alert. Yes.
Here are the latest results coming in from Indiana. 3% of the vote is now in. Donald Trump has a nearly 40% lead over Hillary Clinton, almost 70% to 26%.
Jesus
Donald
fucking
Trump
Christ,
has a
Indiana, what the hell?
lead in Indiana, where there are 11 electoral votes.
God.
In Kentucky right now, Trump also has a significant lead, just went up a little bit. 23,000
Why hello,
plus
new missus.
over Hillary Clinton.
Will
Once
you
again,
be
only
my
3%
new
of
miss?
the vote is in. He's got 66%. She has 29%. 8 electoral votes.
And
early voting in both.
Congratulations on your marriage. I hope you guys have a long and
in this historic presidential
one.
race between Hillary Clinton and Donald
Or maybe
Trump.
that's just a username.
To the top of the
Either way, I'm
hour,
really, really confused. I'm just going to keep giving thumbs up now. This is my panic move. It's great. Oh God. Help. I can't stop.
A total of 60 electoral votes are up for grabs in those states. It takes 270 electoral votes to win this presidential election. Jake, Georgia and Virginia, they will be the first tests, the big tests of the night.
That's right, Wolf, and we'll see whether Donald Trump can hold on to the traditionally Republican red state of Georgia, and if Hillary Clinton can keep her Virginia firewall intact. We're keeping tabs going all across the country in these key battleground states. We'll follow throughout the day right now. Let's check in with our correspondents where the presidential candidates' headquarters in New York City. Jeff Zeleny covering Hillary Clinton's ceremony, covering Donald Trump. First to you, Jeff, what are you hearing from the Clinton campaign?
Well, Jake, in the Clinton war room right now, they are keeping an eye on Virginia. They believe those 13 electoral votes could be the first battleground state they win in terms of the times of polls closing.
I know I bought a bunch of super glue.
Washington, D.C. They believe that the turnout there was strong throughout the day, particularly in Fairfax County, in Arlington County, a county where President Obama won by some 20 points in 2012. They believe that turnout was exceedingly good. Now, of course, Virginia, home to Tim Kaine, the Democratic presidential candidate here. Jake, he's been on the ballot for a couple of decades, has never lost a race in Vermont. He was back in Virginia yesterday to campaign across the state in Northern Virginia and Richmond. So is the campaign confident of that? They are less confident, of course, of Georgia. It is one of those states that if she had been expanding the map at the end of this campaign, instead of explaining her FBI
controversy and development, something they were thinking about going into. They believe those 16 electoral votes are out of reach. They barely advertised there. They did not travel there at all. One senior Democratic advisor said,
where's that one that is
Georgia will come into play, but not this time.
Georgia, a state that I believe Barack Obama lost by only 5 points. It's been a state that Republicans have thought to be trending Democratic. We're keeping an eye on it. Sarah Murray is with Trump campaign headquarters just a few blocks away from Jeff. And Sarah, what are the Trump campaign officials telling you?
Well, Jake, the Trump campaign knows that Northern Virginia, the D.C. suburbs, are not turning out today to make America great again. Look, Virginia is not a central part of their electoral college strategy. They've been encouraged to see a tightening in the polls there, and they know that really their only hope is going to be to try to run up the score in areas outside of those D.C. suburbs if they want to have a shot at flipping Virginia to Donald Trump's column. Now, one Trump aide tells me, look, this could turn out to be a Cinderella story for us tonight, but others who are close to the campaign are not so optimistic about a win in Virginia this evening, Jake.
All right, Sarah Murray, thanks so much. Let's go now to our political director, David challenging us the latest from the exit polls. And David, with the polls in Georgia and Virginia about to close, you're taking a look at the exit polls as to who exactly showed up to vote.
That's right, Jake. And we're going to be talking about these two demographics all night long. The racial makeup of the electorate, as well as how the electorate is made up in terms of education level. So first to Virginia, looking at race, 68% white. That's a touch down, a little less white, a little more Latino from 4 years ago. It was 5% 4 years ago, ticked up a point here. This is becoming a slightly more diverse state. Look at education level too. We see a slight tick up there. 57% of voters in Virginia today are college graduates. 4 years ago, that was 54%. That's an increase by 3 points there. That is a significant development. Take a look at Georgia. We see something similar here. 61% of the electorate in Georgia is white. 8 years ago, our last time we had exit polls in Georgia, that was 65%. Again, Georgia becoming a little less white, a little more diverse. An uptick in the Latino vote again. Again, from 8 years ago, that was about 4%. It's now 5%. The African-American vote holding the same there. College education in Georgia. This is the big number that we're seeing in Georgia tonight, Jake. 8 years ago, it was only about 43% college graduate. Here, it's 50%. That is an uptick of 7%. That's a huge increase of college graduates in Georgia. These electorates are changing, and as they do so, this is probably welcome news to Democrats looking to the future. Jake?
All right, David, thank you so much. Voters in Georgia and Virginia a little less white as they went to the polls, at least according to these exit polls, and a little bit more educated.
The Democrats would be thrilled, Dana, if they won Georgia, although they're not necessarily expecting that. They are expecting Virginia.
They are expecting Virginia. They say that they were heading that way even before Hillary Clinton put the sitting senator, former governor Tim Kaine of Virginia, on the ticket. But Georgia is really fascinating because, sort of looking ahead, the question is, given the changing demographics there, whether or not maybe it was a little bit out of reach for Democrats this time around, but if it continues to trend that way demographically, more educated, perhaps even more diverse, it might be within the Democrats' reach the next time around.
And there, well, I was just going to say, and there might be states that are actually trending in the other direction. And the states that Hillary Clinton has been struggling with, that Barack Obama won twice before, Iowa and Ohio, we'll be taking a look at them. If there is a realignment this evening, we'll see if it's a long lasting.
That's why it's such a fascinating night. Let's go over to John King at the Magic Wall. So Georgia, taking a very, very close look at Georgia right now and Virginia.
Georgia and Virginia, Wolf, I want to show you something. You see the darker counties I have filled in here? It's a new trick we're trying tonight in New Orleans. Since all election long we've been talking about, will Hillary Clinton win a traditional Republican constituency, white college-educated voters? These highlighted counties, these are counties that in 2012, the highest percentage demographic group to vote in these counties were college-educated. So this is one of the things we're going to watch when the results come in. Let's go back in time and just look at them. You see that President Obama won them up here in the D.C. suburbs area. Mitt Romney won them when you got more out into the rural areas. So we're going to look at these counties tonight. This was a key constituency nationally. Mitt Romney won this constituency by about 6 points. We know it's going to be a key battleground within the battleground, absolutely critical to Hillary Clinton's chances in places like Virginia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, out in the Philadelphia suburbs. So it's one of the things we're going to watch. Let's turn this off now and come back and just look at the map as we go. 2016, we'll come up here, turn the key off. Now we're going to wait. In Virginia, what are we going to look for? Let me turn this. Doesn't want to go up. Well, let's go back and look at 2012 and come back in here and bring it in. These, again, this is the county we look at here. I'm going to turn this key off. There we go. So what are we going to look for here? Number one, the key for Donald Trump tonight, and this will be a good clue. We expect, if If you believe the late polls, the Democrats are favored in Virginia. If it's a very close race, that tells us a lot. Number one, is Trump actually in play to win Virginia? That would be a big deal. Number two, even if he's not, how competitive is it? What we learned from Virginia in the 7 o'clock hour is going to help us really understand the night ahead, especially when it comes to North Carolina and we move down. And again, talked about this a little bit earlier. Out here, Donald Trump needs to run it up. Smaller rural communities, not a lot of population, but he needs to run up the vote count out here in places like this, even if he loses Virginia, to offset close-in suburbs like this. Georgia is one of those states, each party has its state. For Republicans, it's been Pennsylvania. Every cycle they say we're going to finally get Pennsylvania, and they come up short. Georgia is one the Democrats think we're going to get it because their strength has been in the Sun Belt states. We're waiting for this to fill in next hour. Increasingly, in diverse states in the Sun Belt, Democrats are doing better. They keep, maybe Arizona, they're going to make a run this time. Most Democrats think they'll come up short. So what are you going to look for in Georgia? Number one, you're going to look here. African-American turnout in the Atlanta area, some other areas. Let's go back in history and look at it. You see, you have the blue areas here. To have any chance, it has to be off the charts turnout in the Atlanta metropolitan area. African-Americans, then in the close-in suburbs, again, close presidential elections and close swing states are generally one of the suburbs. That is where Secretary Clinton has had an advantage because of suburban women, college-educated women. We'll watch as this one plays out. Again, I think Georgia is something that Democrats, they've seen some polls showing them very close, so they've engaged the operation down there, but it's very hard for them to win that state. We'll watch it again. Sometimes, Virginia and Georgia in the 7 o'clock hour, it's not even so much who's winning. If Georgia's very competitive, Wolf, it tells us something about Secretary Clinton's in play. We're about to get some of our first big clues.
We're about to get our first big clues indeed. Georgia and Virginia, Georgia State, as we've been pointing out, the Democrats have sought for a long time. They think they have a shot. Not all that optimistic. Virginia, they really, really need Virginia right now. The Democratic vice presidential candidate, he is from Virginia. They think they have a very good shot. Let's get ready. And we have our first projections of the night. Take a look at this. Donald Trump, we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8 electoral votes. Donald Trump wins in Kentucky. Donald Trump also wins in Indiana with its 11 electoral votes. His running mate's home state. Both wins. Kentucky and Indiana for Donald Trump. We have more projections right now. We project that Hillary Clinton is the winner in Vermont. 3 electoral votes. Vermont. Hillary Clinton is the winner in Vermont. Bernie Sanders' home state. We have a key race alert right now. Too early to call. Too early to call in Georgia with its 16 electoral votes. We cannot make a projection. Yeah, too early to call in Virginia with its 13 electoral votes. We cannot make a projection yet. And too early to call in South Carolina. Right now, 9 electoral votes at stake. Too early to call in that state as well. Let's take a look at the Electoral College count right now. The vote, where it stands right now. You see Donald Trump takes a very early lead with 19 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton has 3. You need 270. You need 270 to win the presidency. You see the colors there on the map. The red states, those are states that go to Donald Trump. That blue state, Vermont, up in the northeast, that goes to Hillary Clinton. The yellow states, those are states we cannot yet make a projection. Too early to call right there. Let's go over to Jake. Jake, the action in Virginia and Georgia is going to be intense.
Although I have to say, Virginia, really, of all the states on the map, Virginia is really the one that we're all keeping an eye on because Hillary Clinton and her team have not really factored Georgia in, nor they have.
Why, hello, Fitman. How are you doing today? It's me. Of course you know it's me, because it's me, and it says so right there in the ad, or the ad, or wherever the ad is here, because, oh my God, I just a forever looping series of friends of my personal outline. My metaphysical breakdown is nothing to be concerned about. So,
alright, let's go to
hello! I have a tiny microphone. Where's the microphone? It's a McDonald's toy from...
First in Virginia, at the quality in the candidates that voters were looking for. Now that polls have closed, we can look at how they're splitting.
I wish I could find the actual fucking date on this thing.
The people we were looking for were change. The candidate that can bring about change. Wanted the change candidate. And look how they split here. Big Trump category. Trump gets 79% of those voters.
But yes, I can't wait to get serious and start porting over my longer videos. So, just tell me what I need to do in order to get verified, and I will do it.
to Trump's 8%. About 24% of the electorate, though, was looking for a candidate with right experience. In Georgia, we were looking about that anger at the federal government or satisfaction with the federal government. Take a look here. About a quarter of the electorate in Georgia was angry at the federal government, 27%. Obviously, a strong Trump category. He wins the angry vote 77% to Clinton's 17% in Georgia. And about a quarter of the electorate is actually satisfied with the federal government. How did the satisfied voters in Georgia vote? Overwhelmingly for Hillary Clinton. 81% for Clinton, 14% for Trump, among the quarter of the electorate that is satisfied in Georgia tonight, Jay.
All right, David, thanks so much. And Wolf, obviously, if a large enough percentage of voters in any state or commonwealth goes to the polls wanting change and thinking Donald Trump is the instrument of that change, that does not bode well for Hillary Clinton.
Even, Dana, if the Democrats don't win Georgia this time, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, given the demographic trends, they think they have a shot.
It's certainly possible, especially given the numbers that David Challenge was showing us tonight about how it looks a little bit like, as we were talking about before, Virginia looked 1, 2, 3 cycles ago.
This is a moment, though, that once we start getting these first projections, Jake, that everybody is going to be watching so closely to get trends for these other battleground states.
That's right. I mean, the question is how many Latinos turn out, how many college-educated voters turn out, how big is the gender gap, what are the results in Virginia might be relevant to the results we see in North Carolina or even in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, and your home state, all of a sudden, by all accounts, it's in play.
Generally speaking, Republicans always seem to hear the siren song of Pennsylvania, and they go there and they try to compete, and ultimately they're not able to. But it does seem as though Donald Trump has been able to really make it competitive outside Philadelphia with the white working class voters that make up so much of his natural base. He has really made that state, or Commonwealth rather, a competitive one.
It's a moment that we're watching very closely. I want to just check in right now with, walk over to John King over at the Magic Wall. John, we're taking a very close look. You've been looking at this one county, Vigo County, in Indiana.
Yeah, again, not necessarily instructive, but Vigo County is one of these, it's a quirk county in the sense that they have a great record of picking the winner, voting with the winner. Even when Indiana went red in 2012, if we go back in time, Vigo County voted for President Obama, just barely, but he won the election. So I'm just looking, we're waiting for the results to come in. We have about 44% of the vote in, and Donald Trump is ahead by a sizable margin. So if that holds up, either Donald Trump's going to be elected the next president or Vigo County's streak is going to end. We won't know that for hours. So strap in and we'll see. But they've been right in 15 straight presidential elections. They've been wrong only twice in the last 100 years in terms of picking the winner at 44%. That tells you something. And that's just one of the streaks we're looking at. And this is a very unorthodox election, so I expect a lot of streaks might be broken tonight, no matter who wins. But one of the other things you do is I'm trying to look at these early states for clues as to performance. Is Donald Trump overperforming Mitt Romney in rural areas where you have white working class voters? So it's one of the things you look at. And so you just look at a county and you look at Donald Trump's getting 67%. Again, it's only 5% of the voted, so it might not necessarily hold up. But then you go back and look. Mitt Romney got 60% of this county. So there's a county where Donald Trump is running a little stronger. Doesn't necessarily matter in Indiana, but if you're running stronger with those types of voters, what do you learn in other places? And that's why, again, we're looking at Kentucky a lot. Let's come back to 2016.
Let's take a look at Florida, because Florida, they're going to be closing at the top of the hour.
Florida, look at that. We have some votes in Florida.
Yeah.
We'll see where those are coming from. One, it's always fun when you see the first votes come into the wall. You're trying to figure out where they're from. Little Citrus County, it's only less than 1% of the population, but there you go. 0% reporting there. But obviously some votes have come in. Some counties, the early votes, they load them up. They've had a lot of early voting, aggressive early voting in Florida. So what are we going to be looking for overall in Florida? That's the early lead right now. And what are you going to look for? Number one, this is your big Democratic strongholds down here. Hillary Clinton, to win Florida, has to run it up. Let's go back in time and look at this state. Florida was the closest state in the 2012 race. President Obama eked out a very narrow victory. The early voting there, when they dumped those numbers in, that is critical. You heard the panel talking earlier about Democrats think they amped up the Latino vote to help them there. We'll see. What happens down here? A little battleground within the battleground. How does Donald Trump do in Palm Beach County? That's his second home. He thinks he's going to do very well in Florida. Is Donald Trump going to win Palm Beach County? I bet not. It is traditionally a big Democratic county, but the margins within these counties matter. In a very close election, if these are friends of Donald Trump and he can make it, instead of 60-40, make it a little bit closer, those things matter. That's what we're going to watch as we start to watch the results coming in Florida. The key Democratic strongholds across here. I'll tell you, well, this is anecdotal. You call people in these states, you email with people on election days. The Democrats were very happy about their early voting. Hillsborough County, where Tampa is, absolutely critical. Pinellas County, you go to the west out here in St. Petersburg, it's just more of a swing county, critical for the Democrats. The Democrats were thrilled with early voting there. Talking to a friend who knows the organizers down here today, said the Democrats got some jitters today when they saw the long lines of Trump supporters, so we're going to play this out.
Stand by. I want to go to Mark Preston right now. Mark, polls closed in North Carolina at the bottom of the hour, but there are some important developments you're watching.
Yeah, well, we actually have breaking news right now out of North Carolina. The North Carolina State Board of Elections has agreed to keep the polls open in 8 precincts, anywhere from about 20 minutes to 60 minutes. Now, this has to do, Wolf, with the fact that there was computer glitches. There were computer glitches, Wolf, in some of the precincts earlier today, and those computer glitches caused long lines, and people were being turned away from the polls. Now, the polls right now are scheduled to close at 7:30, so some of them now will close at 8:30. Some of them will close a little bit sooner than that. The Durham County Board of Election had requested actually the polls to be open for 90 minutes, Wolf, but they did not get the 90 minutes they asked. As I said, it was a computer glitch problem. And as we look into this right now,
that's not a computer glitch problem.
Before we had actually heard the rules
no,
of the State Board of Elections,
fuck you,
said that this
fuck
is not
you.
an appropriate way to treat
Oh my God! So the polls should be open late.
Disenfranchisement in the state of North Carolina. Now, Wolf, I should note, in the state of North Carolina, very important to.
Oh my God!
Durham,
no, the polls should be fucking.
African American. Won Durham by 17%.
You disturb me. You disturb me on such a
very
level.
interesting indeed. All right, we're going to get back to you, Mark. John Durham. Let's talk a little bit about Durham. They're going to get a little extra. The polls supposed to close there at the bottom of the hour in a few minutes from now, but they're going to stay open maybe as long as another hour.
As Mark just explained, not as long as the Democrats had hoped for, had requested, but they do get the polls open longer. And as Mark noted, we're going to wait to watch this fill in, but let's go back for historical perspective. This is an overwhelmingly Democratic county. The African-American vote, other Democratic constituencies, and you see a state like this, again, North Carolina, like Florida, one of the most tightly contested states in the United States, so each party knows where its voters are, especially in the age of big data politics. The Clinton campaign has a list. They know who they need to vote here in Durham County, and the question is you check them off as they go and you try to turn people out, so they're desperate to keep these polls open because in a state as close as North Carolina, Mitt Romney took it back from the Democrats. It's been traditionally Republican there. President Obama won it just barely, 50-50, in 2008. So in a state this closely contested, it's pretty obvious, every vote matters. And so you have these arguments, and it's in a key area of the state. Not just Durham, but the Raleigh-Durham area. You have the African-American base out of Durham. You have the research triangle of Raleigh-Durham. This is a key battleground within this battleground state. Absolutely critical for Hillary Clinton to run it up in these areas, and absolutely critical for Donald Trump. His competition in the suburbs is very important here too, so we'll be a little later counting those votes, obviously, in a state we expect to take us deep into the night.
They'll stay open for as long as an extra hour. Dana, we're getting our first projections in the balance of power in the U.S. Senate.
That's right, Wolf, we sure are. And let's start with the state of Vermont. Patrick Leahy, already one of the longest-serving senators in history, CNN can project will go on to win an 8th term, defeating his Republican challenger, Scott Milne. Now let's go to the state of Kentucky. Rand Paul, people remember, he started out this campaign running for president, dropped out, then decided to run for re-election. CNN can project that he has won that seat, defeating his Democratic challenger, Jim Gray. Now let's go to South Carolina. Republican incumbent Tim Scott, CNN can project that he will defeat his Democratic challenger, Thomas Dixon. Tim Scott being the first African-American ever to represent the South. Now let's look at key races where we're watching very, very closely. Indiana, again, this is an open seat, a Republican seat. Todd Young, the Republican, at this hour, just about 10% of the vote is pretty far ahead and by. He was trying to get his old Senate seat back, turn that blue. We're going to be watching that very, very closely. And now we have some where the polls have not yet closed, but we do see some numbers coming in. Marco Rubio, who is running for re-election, is up pretty significantly, but you see only 2% of the vote there. He's up by more than 60,000 votes. We're going to watch that very, very closely. And then another marquee race. This could determine whether or not Republicans keep the Senate. Incumbent Kelly Ayotte is trying to hold on to that, defeat her Democratic challenger, the Governor Maggie Hassan. Only 1% in there. This is the one we're going to be watching incredibly closely all night long. So let's look at the balance of power.
Do your thing, how you do your thing.
Jake,
It's
you
all
see
right.
there on the big board, 37 right now for Democrats, 32 for Republicans. and 31 of the races that we're watching still not yet called. So, you know, some of the ones that we just called were not big surprises.
No.
It's still important for the one Democrat and two Republicans to get in their column. Indiana, to me, is absolutely fascinating because the Democrats thought they could make that competitive by running somebody whose name is incredibly popular and well-known, Evan Bayh, in the whole Midwest, especially Indiana. But it's unclear if he's going to be able to make it.
In a year where outsiders seem to be popular, especially among Republican voters and in Republican-leading states like Indiana, Evan Bayh, former governor, former senator, and then has done this state in Washington, D.C., done a lot of lobbying. They recruited him to run, promising him that he would be able to win. We'll see what happens. It looks like it's much tougher than he banked on.
A lot tougher, and they thought he could win because his name has been sort of the political gold standard there, but maybe not in 2016.
Now, just his name, of course, is
so apparently Georgia, Virginia, and Kentucky are too early to call.
Key race alert right now.
Key race alert.
Here are the results coming in from Florida. 2% of the vote is in so far. 58.5% for Donald Trump, 30.2% for Hillary Clinton. Trump has an early lead of some 63,000 votes over Hillary Clinton. Only 2% of the vote is in Florida. 29 electoral votes are at stake there. And we're getting, of course, the numbers coming in very, very early from the state of Virginia. Hillary Clinton has a very slight lead. Look at how close it is, 49.5%, 45.5%. Hillary Clinton's lead, only 294 votes. Very, very early in Virginia, early in Florida. We're watching both of those key states right now. Let's go over to John King. The early votes in Florida. John, where are they coming in from?
Mostly up here in the northern part of the state, the rural part of the state, and the Republican part of the state. Remember, let's just do this so you can get a sense. All of our votes are right up around these lines. We'll go back in time and look. 2012 race. It's a largely Republican area. You got one county there in the middle. It's Democratic, so it's a very small percentage of the vote. The major population centers are around here.
Doing good.
This is where the big fight is.
Doing good.
It's close. If it's close in Florida, especially Orange County, the growing Latino population here in the Orlando area. This is a big area of Democrats, 60-40. Watch, this is a place where Democrats say they're early voting was significant among Latinos. But if we come back to look where we are right now, this doesn't tell us much, except these are conservative areas up here.
All right.
So you're looking here to see if Donald Trump can run up the numbers. Now again, 0%. So these are just the first vote, 692 to 387. Very early and preliminary. But one of the things you're going to watch in a state like this, again, the closest state in 2012, is how does it shape up when you go back and look. And right now, Romney at 63. Trump at 62.2, he's running about, again, very early returns where Mitt Romney was. Obviously, he'd like to run a little stronger than that because President Obama just carried the state. But we'll watch that as we go through these small, relatively 0.1% of the population. So you're looking for early clues in rural turnout. That is key to Donald Trump, especially in a state like Florida, this northern part of the state, which is the more southern part of the state, if you will, bordering the southern states. This is the much more conservative part of the state. Where Trump's campaign on immigration, on Obamacare, on taxes and spending issues. This is much more important here. So we'll watch it. Early results. This doesn't tell us much, except for these early counties are filling in the way Donald Trump would want.
More Democratic counties not down in the southern part of Florida. We're just minutes away from the next round of poll closings, including the battlegrounds of Ohio and North Carolina. North Carolina becoming even more crucial in the closing days of the presidential race. New results coming up right after a quick break.
All right. So during that quick break, I'm actually going to cool off my phone.
Is brought to you by VoteForEnergy.org, a program of the American Petroleum Institute. Log on to learn more. And by Northwick Southern. One line, infinite possibilities.
Republican, Democrat, Independent. Shouldn't matter. Energy isn't a partisan issue. Producing more oil and natural gas here means more opportunity, more growth, more security for America. Who can't get behind that? I'm Kim, and I'm an energy voter.
Big day? Not the usual. Move some new cars. All a bunch of steel. Get the supermarket shelves stocked. Make sure everyone got their latest gadgets. What's up for the next shift?
Nothing much. Just keep the lights on.
Doing the big things that move an economy. Just another day at Norfolk Southern. Your Can's thinking playoffs. Your Can's thinking division.
Nobody catches ball.
Your Can's thinking Houston. Don't jinx it. Your Can is Houston. Same hotel? Same price? No. There's a
bunch of different prices out there all over the internet. Trivago instantly compares them to find your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
Before it became a medicine, it was an idea, a wild what if. So scientists went to work. They examined 87 different protein structures and worked for 12 long years. There were thousands of patients